Chap Tales. Don't you wanna hear some Chap Tales? Hello people, how you doing? Okay, so this is a little Chap Tale story for you. When we was like, me and my pals in Kentish Town, like when we was young and that, we live basically on the doorstep of Hampstead Heath, and a lot of our lives were spent in that park, all over it, doing different stuff from football to rugby to tennis to running up and down Kite Hill to fishing. Now, yeah, if you're all the lads from Kentish Town, no matter what cancer estate you lived on or whatever, everyone just loved being fishermen. And the Heath is great because there's like, how many ponds is there you can fish on? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's about five lakes that you can fish on, that you're allowed to fish on. So basically, we used to just go up there as kids, and a lot of the time we'd go on our bikes so we could move around the Heath into different lakes. Anyway, this one time that I'm thinking of, there was me, Dean Chapronier, I can't really remember, Ben I don't know. It was about 6 of us, and we all had our bikes with us, and we all had our little fishing rods and pints of maggots that we would have been down to Sharpies, the local tackle shop on Morden Road, that we would have gone down there previous to going to the Heath or whatever and bought our bait, usually maggots. But yeah, so this one day, so we'd all gone over the Heath. We was all at a pond called the Hampstead number 2, which is closer to Hampstead, if you know what I mean. Like one side a bit more close to Highgate, but the side we was on closer to Hampstead, next to the mixed swimming pond, if that means anything to people. And there was a swim, and it had like a big willow tree that sort of hung into the pond, like, and there was always loads of carp around there. Anyway, so we was all there, just don't know what we was doing, float fishing probably, or floater fishing with like dog biscuits for carp or whatever. But we was all there, and I'd just been bought by my mum a brand new Browning 13-foot waggler rod, which was a lovely rod, you know what I mean? It was like 130 quid or whatever. But so we're all there, we're just for ages, like fishing, not having too much of a good time with the old catching, because I don't think we'd actually caught anything up to this point. And then one of them, actually another one of our friends turned up, and I don't know who it is, don't know. It's just one of our pals, and he was on his bike, and he's like, "Oh, how's it going, lads?" or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, we've been here for a couple of hours, but we ain't had nothing yet." And he was like, "Oh, I've just come from the Parley Ponds, like, which is like the Highgate side, and people are fishing on the men's swimming pond, which would have been Parley 2, and they're banging out loads of like roach and perch, and yeah, it just seems to be loads around there." So we was all like, "Right, that's it. Bring your rods in, people. We are going over to the Parley Ponds." So packed our gear down, and basically I had my rod, and I didn't want to pack it down because it takes ages to reset it all back up, and I just wanted to get there casting in, you know what I mean, be fishing. So I got the hook, and I hooked it onto the largest eye of the rod, and then I tightened the line and tightened up my reel so it wouldn't come out of the reel more line or whatever, and it held it like nice and tight or whatever. But I still had a 13-foot rod. I had my bag and that on my back or whatever, and everybody else, a couple of them had done what I've done. A couple of them just packed their gear completely away and put it in the bags and everything, and like had it all over their backs or whatever. So we started to ride off, but where the willow was, there was like a little path that led up to a road And if you went up there, you could get round to the bottom of Kite Hill quite easily. So we did that, and then we went into the heath there, went to the top of Kite Hill, and then down the other side. And as we was going down the other side, no, we're going pretty fast. 2 of us, 3 of us might have had full length rods, you know what I mean? Like, so a 13-foot rod while you're trying to ride the bike as well. It was mental, like, so we're going down, everyone's going quite fast or whatever. And then it's funny because, like, my rod sort of, like, I must have moved it towards the right-hand side where all the trees and this fence and stuff was or whatever. But I watched my rod get tangled up into, like, go into where the fence was. Yeah, it's fine now. But then I actually watched myself ride past where it had gone in. And the minute I just got past it, boom, the rod just snapped in half. And I was like, oh my God. I obviously had to stop, and a couple of them carried on, didn't care. A couple of them come back to see what had happened or whatever. And I was just like, I could not believe it. It was a brand new rod that my mum had just bought me, and it was snapped in half. And I was like, oh my God, I was so angry because I was proper up for fishing that day. I would have rid round to all 5 of the lakes that you could fish on, you know what I mean, in the day. But yeah, I got my rod out of the bush and that, and yeah, it was just snapped in half. So basically I packed it all away, and then like nearly in tears, like to the others saying, oh, well, you lot better go on because I'm going home, man. I'm going home. So yeah, rid home, got back to my house or whatever, and walked in to my mum, and she just see me standing there with a rod in my hand that snapped in half, like, and I'm in tears, and like, she's like, what happened? And when I told her, she just didn't think I was very clever not to just pack the stuff away and reset it up when I got to the new lake. But yeah, the only good thing that came out of this little story is that we contacted the company Browning, and they was able to send me the middle section of the rod, because the rod breaks down into 3 bits, and it was the middle section that had snapped in half. So we managed to get, like, for, I don't know, 40 quid or whatever, they sent me out the new middle section of the rod. Yeah. So other than that taking about a week or whatever, luckily I kept a good rod or whatever. And yeah, it was quite funny because I was like, just ran the flats, like no one was ran the flats because they was all fishing, like. And then when they came home at the end of the night, like, they see me just sitting there, like, on I don't know, Dean Cookie or Ben's wall, and they was like, oh God, man, we got to the men's swimmer, we all cast in, we was just banging out roach, banging out gudgeon, banging out perch, and so even had a tench. So I was just like, oh, get away from me, man. But yeah, so I suppose if I can give any youngsters out there that are going fishing, pack your rod down when you're going to the next lake if you are on a bike, because yeah, do you know what I mean? I must have looked like one of them jousters or whatever, like Henry VIII on Shoebarb, going down the hill with a rod in my hand, like. But yeah, so I just thought that'd be a funny little story. Again, mugging myself off, telling people. But yeah, sweet. Thanks for listening. Nice one.
Chap Tales. Don't you wanna hear some Chap Tales?